Welcome to DMOB Garage. We are going to be doing some custom headlights for the Ford Transit Mark 7, and I will show you the way to separate these lenses. You can see here, I've got one here which I've roughly polished up. That's the other one. I got these from the junkyard for 50 bucks. Look at that, pretty knackered compared to that one. Gave that one a bit of a clean up. I'll show the process of how I got that from that state to that state. But we're going to take these covers off and we're going to stick some halos and DRLs and do some custom stuff to them. So there is a couple of ways you can get the lenses off. You can chuck them in the oven or you can use a heat gun. So let's see how we go. I've never done it before, so this is the first time I've actually taken one of these covers off, but I've got a fair idea how it works. Now I have bought the proper butyl resealing glue. So this stuff here is the really good one to make sure that you do reseal them properly and not get moisture in them and all the rest of it. So we're going to be using that when we do put them back together. I also have a ton of DRLs and stuff we're going to play with later. So stick around and let's get cracking into this thing. We're going to need a heat gun, some gloves, screwdriver, and these tools. These are our little separators which will separate. We're going to use these to go around the edge and pry apart the lens from the base cover. So let's get cracking. Now, one thing to note, these are a completely sealed unit, but there's a little spider in there. I don't know how the hell he got inside. Probably through where the globe, there must be a bit of a gap where the globes go in, maybe, I don't know, but geez, he's done a good job. But no food in there, buddy, and you can see there's a spider web inside there too. So that was a bad life choice, mate, sorry. All right, let's set this thing up. We'll get the heat gun on and we'll just start working our way around it and see how much temperature we need to get this butyl to start softening up. Start this process up. Got the wide blade on. We'll just put some heat around the edge of it. Put the screwdriver in it. Just going to try and go in here. There we go. Just knock out a bit of that glue. Try not to slip. The trick is not to stay in one spot too long with the heat gun, obviously, because you'll start melting shit. You can see we're almost got it all the way out. Just this little corner. And there's Mr. Spider. Okay. So we'll obviously have to give this a clean up, get all this glue off. We can sort that out later. On to the next step. Not too bad. I actually thought this was going to take a lot longer to heat this up, but it actually wasn't too bad at all. I don't think, because I've seen a couple of people melt the whole assembly in the oven, and obviously they've just had it too hot. But realistically, with a heat gun, you've got controlled heat all the way around it. You're not heating up any of the components behind it either. Not that that probably matters too much. Anyway, this part here, we're going to spray black. That's one of the main reasons, just a customization thing. So we will clean up these corners here a little bit, just take off that glue on the corners. We're going to give this a coat of black epoxy satin and then leave it for a couple of weeks before we put these back together, because we want all the vapors and all that stuff to come out of it, otherwise it'll turn your lenses cloudy, so we don't want to do any of that. Yeah, let it do its curing process, you could say. Awesome. All right, let's continue. Okay, so we've removed all the glue that was in the channel all the way around, so that's all done, and we're going to be putting one of these little hexagon or half hexagon halos just in there like that, I think. I have to put some gloves on because you don't want to go touching this thing, otherwise you get fingerprints and stuff all over it. Okay, we can pop this aside now because we're not going to need that for a while. Now we need to work out, we're going to have to drill a hole in the side of this because there's no other way to get the cabling through to the back, and it's going to have to come through here. So I just love the way they give you this dirty great big plug. So that's going to be a bit of an issue unless we break the solder off here, and I don't really want to do that. So yeah, it looks like we're just going to have to, it'll be hidden behind the back of this anyway, so you won't see it. But the idea is, I think what we're going to do is mount it like that. I think it actually fits in there perfectly. We'll get those cables out the way. Pretty much like that. It actually wedges in there really nicely. Excellent. I just wonder whether we can glue it. Yeah, just put a tiny hole just on the side there. And I don't think you will see it. I reckon that should look okay. I don't know. Okay, so we have used a bit of 5-minute epoxy just to glue in the little LED. You can see there, that's what it's going to look like from the front, but from the back, if you look inside, you can see I've glued it on the back side in the corners, so can't see it from the front, which is good. We'll just let that dry off and then we can get that mounted back in. So let's go. Next job here, we've just got to get this residual glue off these tabs, and there was some little self-tapper screws that we've got to screw back in. I've got those over here, a couple of those little ones there. They went through the back like that. We've just got to screw those back in when we're finished. So we've just got to get rid of this glue, and then we can get this ready for paint. And then we're going to be adding another little LED down in here once this is all dry and finished. Okay guys, so I've decided I'm just going to use the heat gun to pull this one apart as well, only because for me to fire up that big oven, it's going to cost a fortune, especially with electricity the way it is at the moment. And it actually was pretty quick. That didn't take that long. You know, it was probably 15 minutes of just heating it around. So yeah, I'll just go with the heat gun again. I mean, I know the oven's probably an easier way to do it, but you know, I've got to move all that crap out of the way, and let's just go with that. Go and heat it back up again and do the same process. Gloves, because you need them. Right, let's go. And I'm not worried about the lens because I'll polish all that up later, so I'll just leave it knackered like this, just so, I mean, there's a few scratches in it, but we'll take care of those. Right, let's start heating her up. Righto, one of the next things we're going to do now is paint these black. I have gone over them with wax and grease remover, and obviously I'm not going to touch that front face. And now we're just going to put a bit of adhesion promoter, like a plastic primer, that's just going to go on. It's clear, and then we can put our black satin on top of that. So let's get these hung up and get them ready for painting. All right, let's give it a paint. And that will do it. Okay, so we're going to put some satin black on it. Let's get them painted. Light coat to start with. We'll just let those flash off for about 10 minutes and then give them another coat. So we're going to take our attention now to this lens. Now, this is one from the junkyard for 50 bucks, the two of them, but you can see it's got a dirty, great big scratch right there and it's quite deep. And another one there. Look, I've got another set of lenses, so if this doesn't work, I can, you know, swap it over, but I want to see if we can get it out. We've got the orbital, I've got a whole lot of grades of sandpaper, and we're going to see if we can get that scratch out. But you can definitely get your fingernail in it. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think I'll probably start with 180 and then just work our way down and see what happens with the vibe, with it on Viber. Let's go. Don't see anything crazy there, but we'll go back over it one more time. Okay, so pop a little bit of water on it, and we'll just keep going with 320. Now I can see some scratches here which look like from the previous pad, so we'll just go back over that again. Just a couple of pigtails on there. Clean off the pad. Now we're going to move on from 320 and we're going to drop down to 800. Just got to watch you don't get any build up on the pad, otherwise it'll start to scratch and leave pigtails. Looking good. So that's 800. Now we're going to move on to 1000. Making sure that you are wiping off all the dust from the previous one, otherwise you're just going to add scratches back into it. This is looking good so far. Now we're just going to move to 1000 on a block, and we're going to start doing some blocking with water. Now the inside of this lens is actually dirty too, so I'm going to have to go and get some soap and water because I can see some little imperfections on the inside of it, and that's fine. We can fix that up. Still milky, but that's normal. Now 1200. We do have 1200 on an interface, I think, on a pad. That's 1200. Again, wipe it down with some water. Okay, that is our 1500 done. Now we're going to the 2000 and then 3000, and then we're going to polish it. You can start to really see now the clarity's coming. We still haven't put the buffer on it yet or done the 3000s next. Once the polish hits it, that's when it's going to come up nice. But it's getting there. Now 3000, yes. Yeah, so all those little dirt stains are on the inside, so we'll just get a bit of soap and water and wash the inside of the lens off. But those deep scratches are all gone, so that worked awesome. Now, polish, let's go. All right, let's have a look. So it's not bad. I still do see some scratches in it, so we might put a clear coat over this just to clear it up a little bit more, but we've got some junk on the inside that we're going to have to take care of. Obviously it's not together, but I mean, It's way better than it was. I think it's probably comparable to the other lens. One needs another clean up again. Yeah, we're pretty close to it, so that's good. That will work. Fine tuning. All right, we'll keep going. Okay guys, so we've painted the background black. I've just retrofitted it. Nothing's glued in yet, and I have also put in the hexagon halo up in there. We just used a bit of araldite behind the back of it to glue it into position. It fits actually in there perfectly, which is cool. And then at the bottom, I've just put that DRL. Don't worry, I'm going to black out those screws. Put a bit of 3M tape, this stuff here, behind it. And you actually have to also angle the DRL down because it actually faces up like this, and then you're not getting the full effect. But let me just plug her in and you can have a look and see what the effect is. This will be a driving light, so that's how it turns on. And then you can see once we step back here, she's pretty bright, and that will be doing that while we're driving during the day. And then of course for indicators, that'll actually cancel out. There's the indicator there. So that will be doing its thing when you're turning corners. Very cool. So that's what's going on. Then of course it goes straight back to that once you've changed your lanes and done whatever you do. Now the top one here, I'll just put that on to show you as well. So that's the top DRL doing its thing. And then of course when you're changing lanes, that will also flash, and we can replicate that. And of course that one will be the indicator going on and off like this as well, so that'll sync into the other one. And yeah, there we go. So that part's pretty much all done. What we need to do now is, now that that's finalized, I'm just going to black out those screws. Then we can get our butyl windscreen glue. This is the one I was told to get, which is the good stuff. And then we're going to get these suckers sealed up and then do the wiring on the back of them, get them all linked up. We'll have to do that in the car and go from there. So let's get these things ready for sealing. So we've got our butyl resealing for the headlights, and we are going to take off. It's pretty sticky. We're not going to use all of this. We're going to stretch it out a little bit because it's probably going to be a little bit too thick. Now we're going to get a light. We've got our little gap here, which is all pretty much sorted. No distortions or anything going on, which is good. So all we're going to do now is take this out. Make sure we've got no backing tape on here. Just going to stretch this out because you can see if we go to put this in here, it's too thick. So we're just going to stretch it. Now, I'm going to get some compressed air. We just want to make sure we've got no hair inside this thing or junk. I'm just going to pop it like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up and drop the lens on top of it. So we'll grab our heat gun. I'm going to place this on without stuffing up. So click the clips over. Okay, we're going to let that butyl cool down, then we can take the clamps off it, and then we can just double check our seal around it, make sure it is properly sealed up. Righto guys, you can see we've got them mounted, and I'll just give you a quick demo of what the lights look. Alright, so that's our indicators. You can see that's what they're doing there. We've got our little DRLs down there. You can see here, they're the DRLs on that side. And of course, once we take the indicator off, it switches back to DRL mode. So that's our look from the front, which is pretty cool. I'll just show you what it looks like when we do the startup. There we go. So that is our completion of our custom headlights. I hope you enjoy that. Now, wiring it up, I've just taken a couple of the wires into the fuse box to pick up the indicator and the DRLs. Pretty self-explanatory if you've got a wiring diagram for it. That will be it for this video just before the storm comes in, and we'll catch you in another video coming up soon.